Okay, Bill, let's get back to Sal's show. Okay, next up is The Haunted Pirate Show by David Breen, also known as Captain Forktongue in a Haunted Ship with Michael Bloom. Let's hop aboard, mates, and see this spooky clip.
Very heartwarming story. Well, let me tell you folks, in talking about stories, when you're a pirate, oftentimes, what we usually like to do is we like to meet in various taverns around the world. And oftentimes we share tales of our own times at sea. And also we share tales that have to do with other pirates as well. Now, oftentimes we'll steal stories from each other and claim them as our own. This story is one of the more gruesome tales of piracy. It tells of the tale of a pirate named Captain Bones. Now, you won't find Captain Bones in any of the history books, for you see, he was so gruesome that no historian dared even to write about him. Now, Captain Bones would not only hunt and sail for treasure, but any victim that got in his way, he would draw his cutlass and he would not only kill the men, but slice their bodies up until he got to the heart of the bones of those victims. And he took the bones back aboard his ship and displayed them all over the ship. He would use these bones to decorate his ship, and specifically his ship's captain. Leg bones hanging from the ceiling, whole skeletons on the floor of his cabin. He even had a necklace made of bones, and he took a man's skull once, had the ship's carpenter shape it in to a lovely mug so he could drink his grog out of it. Aye, it came to pass though with Captain Bones. His own crew even feared him so much that none of them would ever dare to approach, except for one, who I'll tell you about a little bit later. Now, Captain Bones, a lot of people would say, why did he keep such a vast collection of bones distributed all around his ship? Well, some people believe that he was a superstitious man, and he believed that the bones would bring him good luck. Others believe that he kept the bones to keep the entire crew in line. Very few people believe Captain Bones kept those bones because he liked them. And as I said, no one ever dared question Captain Bones except one man. This all came to pass, you see, when old Captain Bones and his crew attacked another ship. And he went to the captain of the ship and he killed the man. But instead of slicing his body from top to bottom, all he did was slice the hands off of the captain. And he took the hands and brought them back to the ship, and he had a throne in his ship's cabin. And he displayed one hand on either arm of his throne chair. Now, at this point, the crew all agreed, Captain Bones has gone too far, and he must be stopped for collecting all these bones. Aye. So they went to the first mate, and they told the first mate, ye must speak with Captain Bones. Having bones aboard the ship is one thing. Aye, but the rotting stench of the human skin molding on the hands was enough to make the toughest sea dog ill. Aye. So when the first mate confronted Captain Bones about what he had done, Captain Bones drew his cutlass and he drove it through the heart of the first mate. And then he turned to the crew and says, well, does anyone else think I've gone too far? But that night, the stars twinkled in the clear night sky until a big fog rolled in. And suddenly there was an ear-piercing scream coming from the captain's quarters. The crew ran into the quarters to see what was the matter. Aye, and they looked down and they saw the body of Captain Bones had been all bent and broken. And he was lying on the ground dead. Ship's doctor was called in to examine the body, and he even decreed that every bone in Captain Bones' body has been ripped from stem to stern. And then one crewman cried out, "Look! Look!" And as they looked around the cabin, all the bones were starting to vanish. And the captain's own treasure disappeared as well. This scared the men. "Abandon ship! Abandon ship!" as they made their way to the lifeboats. Aye, but it was a big ship, and already one of the lifeboats was sent to the sea. Oh, God. They all piled in, all at once, into another lifeboat, and they sailed out through the fog of the night. Then they stopped in the middle of the ocean. Oh my, what they saw was a lifeboat heading towards them. And above the lifeboat, it looked like there was a lantern, but who was holding the lantern? They didn't see a body. And as the lifeboat got closer and closer, they saw a skeleton holding the lantern. Now there were little bits of flesh on the skeleton's body, but very little. And as the skeleton and the crews, both the lifeboats, got right into range, they heard the voice of the skeleton cry out, "Too far! Too far! Too far!" Ladies and gentlemen, the strange tale of Captain Bones.
So what do you think, Paul? That was a very good performance. I like spooky stuff, like ghost ships and stuff like that. It looks like it's very suitable for Halloween.